Hello guys and welcome to another Fyxshion Reydiou. Today we have Shinja once again, and today we're going to be talking about a really cool classic mecha. One of the OG mechas, like legit good mecha.
One of the first, like it was one of the first to make it to Toonami, so like it's really popular.
Yes.
Back in the old day. We're talking about Eureka 7.
Yes. So Shinja, can you tell us a little bit about Eureka 7?
Yeah, sure. So our protagonist in Eureka 7 is Renton, Thurston, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
Um, and Renton lives with his grandpa, in kind of like basically a junkyard, where they're like a repair shop, and they like repair people's equipment. There are hoverboards that like exist in this world. It's just the normal stuff. But Renton's grandpa wants him to like actually like go to college and like be a normal civilized student, but Renton wants to be like a surfer sort of dude.
Right.
Like
Yes.
one of those like sports people that like glides on boards. I forget what the sports is in the anime, but it's like a hoverboard thing.
Yes.
They do it with robots,
Yes.
which is like really crazy and really cool. So Renton wants to just pilot one of those robots and also just like soar through the air. One day he meets this girl. Her name's Eureka, and she just happens to crash into their workshop with her robot, her giant mecha. And basically boy meets girl he's never seen before, falls in love, and he also falls in love with the robot, which he is somehow able to like help pilot. So
Right.
yeah, so both Eureka and Renton are able to pilot Nervash, I believe the robot is.
Yes.
And they pilot it like no one's ever seen before. And yeah, the story develops from there a little bit more. The history behind what exactly the robot Nervash is, and also who Eureka is, and just like the whole like state and like government conspiracy that's going on.
Oh yes, most definitely. This had heavy political things in it, but then it just like it focuses on the characters, which I love. Jesus Christ, this anime had it's still in my mind, man. Like since I first watched this, it was on Adult Swim. This was like at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
anime. I was like, man, I'm gonna watch this like right here, because back in the day there was no internet. And there was internet, but we weren't,
I didn't get to watch it as a kid, because we didn't have internet.
we only had TV.
There was internet, but it wasn't easily accessible, and there wasn't a lot of anime streaming
As of
services
today.
at the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it because even late at night, because I had to be in bed, and my parents
Yes,
also
exactly.
were like adamant about me not watching anime. Like they thought of anime and like they would think of stuff like Bleach and like Yasha and that kind of stuff has like weird imagery,
Right.
and then there's Pokemon, which Pokemon had no weird imagery, but
exactly.
But yeah, I didn't get to watch it as a kid, but I remember it being so memorable, and I was like, whoa, mechas and surfboarding in the air, whoa, that's super cool.
Yes.
Everyone at school talked about it, but I didn't get to watch it until like last year, I think. And,
So
and like the anime was way more depressing than I thought it was gonna be.
Yes, it is. It has that character moment when you start breaking in tears because of the character that you most like. And this anime has that. This anime will break you into pieces.
Yeah, like it gets hard because it starts off really happy.
Yes, it does.
But then everything starts going wrong for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's not a simple like, oh, we do this and everything's fixed. It's like literally like, oh, we fixed it, but then the next episode, sometimes even same episode, is like
everything like goes down lane, like for every character, like Jesus, like these characters cannot get a break.
Yeah, and it's so, yeah, I'm like, can I just get like some, I don't know, a break? And a lot of it is also just stupid like teen / preteen like drama,
right? Yeah.
It's like it's completely unnecessary, but it's like realistic as well, because it's like, yeah, of course, like a kid would like make stupid decisions and put a whole bunch of people in danger because to them this is their world, like like the romance and everything, like they have to sacrifice everything for it. They're not taking into consideration other things.
Right.
And they also like, you know, over dramatize things.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, like it's definitely something different than I was expecting for. I feel like that happens with a lot of mecha animes though. Like Gurren Lagann is another example. It's like starts so different than how like it ends.
It ends, yeah. They're like most good mecha end in a really bitter way. It
like
starts
a bittersweet way,
and then it like, wow, it's kind of hard to understand, like what's like to get like the story progresses, right? And then you get this character development, and you see that this character is changing, and you're like, man, I just don't want this character to suffer that much. And we see that in this anime. Like Eureka, like, damn, man, like.
I mean, it's funny that I just realized that it's like I'm saying that like, oh man, like it gives me Gurren Lagann syndrome, but I'm like, well, if you think about it, it's like Gurren Lagann, Eureka 7, and Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah.
All three of them, they've got normal dude lives in like this world that like doesn't make sense, and then they meet a strange girl in their childhood,
hot girl.
Like this really pretty girl, like like literally no one on like the planet looks like her. Like they fall in love with each other, and then either the girl or both of them end up quote unquote dying, but they don't. No one actually dies. It's just kind of like
it's just
into like a higher existence or sort of thing. It's like bittersweet.
Like Mechas has that kind of thing though.
Yeah, and so I'm sure that maybe like what are like Gundam has it, and what's the Evangelion probably like I've heard Evangelion also has a plot like that.
Yes.
I don't know.
Even Code Geass. Even though Code Geass is a little bit different than just like it's more military, so it has more
I like how Code Geass did it, because like it's actually more like there's more intense drama and action.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But yes, there
teenagers.
But it is dude falls in love with girl, or well, I mean, I don't know if he's in love with CC or VV or whatever her name is.
It's just they just never like. Well, that's another topic. So
yeah, but yeah, he meets strange girl, gets power from girl.
Right.
rules the world, but then kind of not, but then dies, but then lives, but question mark?
Yes. Like
So
with,
I don't know.
with Eureka 7, like all the openings are like very vivid, and even the endings are like they're pretty and so freaking good. Like I like all the endings and all openings from a Eureka 7. It's like very rare to just like be constant with good openings and good endings until the end. It is just amazing. And when you see that, you're like, okay, so
It's very like 2000, early 2000s
very,
music too.
yeah, nostalgic. It's like that type of early 2000 feeling, in which Eureka 7 actually, that's the charm of this anime, and that's where Eureka 7 AO failed a bit. Is because AO was from this decade, and it didn't have that kind of punch. But AO is another type of anime, so let's just leave that one out for a while.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know how popular that one was either. Like,
oh man,
like they took the story and like completely rebooted it.
yeah, it's yeah. It didn't end up like a Soul Eater, not that bad, but it was okay anime. So going back to Eureka 7, the most thing that I love about it is that, of course, no CGI.
Yeah, no, they didn't have it back then.
No CGI, like, oh, finally. Like, and this animation, like the robot animation and how they actually fly to the air with the hoverboards, this is like, I think it's the first or maybe the second mecha anime that has robots with flying boards. I could be wrong, but
it's so hard for me to like. Everyone thinks of Eureka 7 when like you think of robots and flying boards. So this is probably the first to popularize it.
right.
But yeah,
I think it's, I mean, like back in the day, like Gundam, Transformers, I don't know. It's just like I see that Eureka 7 had like that pioneering thing that initially have these robots flying with boards, because most of the robots before Eureka 7, like in the 90s, they just use like these jetpacks or their feet full of the feet how do you say it, rocket feet, rocket shoes, those things.
Yeah.
Yes, that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So they don't like. I think like the first mega that I've seen that robot flying with a board is Eureka 7, and that's why it got like the popularity it got at first, because the first step we see in the opening is the robot transforming and then throwing the board in the air and then just fly, and it's just amazing. Like when you see the openings animation, it's the same animation that's what you see in the anime.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not like, okay, the opening is so badass and then the shitty anime like it has a bad animation. No, this is not that kind of anime. This is a constant, very good animators that they got paid well.
Yeah, no, they worked really hard, and like especially you can tell they had to work really hard because the animation that happened was the propulsion.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all like this green butterfly stuff that like that's I can't remember the science behind it, but like it's very like detailed basically when it's like shooting out like the exhaust or whatever in each of the like the boards and stuff, so it looks like you're actually riding waves and stuff. Very, very pretty looking.
Yes, very, yeah. It was really cool animation, even though back then this was 2004, 5.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it had to have been like 2005, 2006.
Yeah, 2005. Yeah, it started April 17, 2005.
Yeah. Yeah, it had to have been because like I remember I was like in middle school when this was airing.
Especially on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's,
this
like, a year or so later.
Yeah, when it actually dubbed.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, it's for me, this anime, man, it's like I just love it, man. Like I'm really speechless because it's sometimes when you see these kinds of anime, you don't see them too much today, and it's so little. Like we've seen, like, of course, Jolene and the Franks, but it's not the same. It's Eureka 7 is a separate type of mecha, and that's just because of the characters and the actual robots too, because robots actually have it's a character too, so it's not throwing out of the way. So it's very precious to just see like these characters grow up too, because not just our protagonists, there's other characters here that are really interesting too, that they actually suffer with the protagonist. And also in this anime there is death.
Yeah.
So if you
I was gonna say a lot of it, but there isn't.
Yeah.
There's enough death.
Yeah, it's pretty balanced when you kill a character. Yeah, it's very realistic in terms of that. So there's not like a plot armor, of course, because the plot armor is actually a thing. So even though protagonist actually suffered a lot, especially Eureka. So
yeah, Eureka. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Like, do you want to mention it, like what actually happened to her? Like, let's just throw it out there, man. Like, it's been like how many years now? It's been 15 years. Like, come on, like, let's go spoiler this thing. Like, spoiler alert if you have not seen it.
Basically, she like loses all her hair.
Yeah.
And like, she starts growing like diamonds and stuff because she like jumped in a pool thing, and like, so her skin starts looking weird as well. Like, yeah. And like she gets disfigured, and then the robot starts like not letting her pilot it either. So she's like, "Why is the robot breaking up with me?"
It gets to that level. She started turning into this green thing. Seemed like an alien thing.
Yeah, she starts to turn into goo as well.
Yeah.
Like,
it's Jesus. What the hell?
Yeah, they got like I don't remember everything.
Yeah, me neither. I was like looking at videos before we started the podcast. I was like, man. Like, when I started watching Eureka 7, I was like at least 17. I mean, I'm 27 right now. So, 17, maybe 16. Do not remember this. Just
when it came out, I had to have been 13, 14. But yeah, like, I didn't watch it until, like, of course, it was 20. Or 24, 23, somewhere around there. I can't remember.
So yeah, this was like at the very, like, almost the ending of the anime. You're like, man, is this anime going to be like, you'll start thinking of yourself like, is this gonna get better, or are they going to still suffer, and the robot and Eureka and the Renton, and it gets hard to just see what is going on, because Eureka fully turns into this weird goo alien thing. Like, Jesus. Yeah. It broke me, man. Like, I don't know if I cried or not, because back then I wasn't as sensible as right now. Right now I cry for anything.
I don't know if I cry. Maybe I started crying a bit at some point, but like, I think I was just so emotionally drained at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you started to like feel and actually live what these characters are actually going through. Like, you just all beat up. That's all.
Yeah.
You feel beat up by just watching that moment, and the development, of course, because it's just so. It started little by little. It's not like drastically like bam, she starts looking weird. No, this is like bit by bit, like.
Yeah.
But damn, man, like, and let's not forget about the robot fights in this anime. Like, Jesus, wow. The
No,
anime,
yeah, it gets really cool. Unfortunately, Renton and Eureka don't ever do anything too cool. Like, the people who do the coolest stuff is like the captain of the.
Yeah.
I don't know if you call them air pirates or pirate group or whatever. They're basically pirates. But yeah, like it's so like they had a lot of fun. I can tell, like doing the whole like surfboarding around and like just taking that whole aspect of just like, oh yeah, you're in the air and like I don't know. It's just really entertaining to watch. Very visually appealing.
Indeed,
very good choreography.
This is a 2005 anime, and back in the day, when the animation started in the 2000s, they weren't that great. But then it started evolving to this kind of animation, and it just like, it was mind-blowing, because when you see fluid animations in the 90s, when it was drawn, because then we started like seeing a lot of digital stuff, not CGI. It's just like the drawings started looking more shiny, more how do you say it? Not old, not 90s. It started looking like a 2000 anime. And you can see that transition between the from 90s and the 2000 anime. And the 2000 anime just didn't look great. But then it just started evolving, and Eureka 7 is one of those type of animes that like broke that thing that bad animation like from the 2000. Also, Full Metal Alchemist did it too, and several other animes in the early 2000s that started with great animation from the start. It's not like from the very beginning just started really shitty animation and then just like they switch over to another animators. No, this is legit one animator studio that got paid well. And because back in the day, the early 2000s, I don't know what actually happened in the in the anime industry. Just like those animations were pretty bad. Just did not like it. I would prefer the 90s way better, but you just have to like contact a really good studio back then, because it just started really bad. It's just, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think the issue was like around that time, a lot of animation was starting to shift from like your traditional style animation to like modern CGI. And I'm not talking about the weird 3D CGI we see right now. I'm mostly talking about the more HD refined.
Exactly. That's
like
word.
CGI, which I guess most people would just say like digital. But it's all technically digital. Anyway. Rather than just, because every frame before used to be drawn by hand. Now like no one does that. Like it's all done on a computer. Like they still have to draw the frames, but it's like all on a computer, and then like some of the like frames are like even just like filled in, or not filled in, but like, you know, they have keyframes, and then like everything in between like has less work to be done, but everything looks more polished now because of like the technology available. But I'm sure that weird transition period between the two technologies, like people are still getting accustomed to
Yeah,
modern
exactly. Yeah.
CGI and
So,
programs and stuff.
Thankfully, Eureka 7 did not suffer by that type of transition and bad animation. This was actually animated by Bone Studios, same as
They've done a lot of good stuff.
Yes, such as the Soul Eater and of course Boku no Hero.
Yeah.
So yeah, these people are legends. So man, this anime, dude, like, do you remember the ending? I barely remember.
I don't, to be honest, and I'm okay. Is that like, all I remember is that they like discover there's like an underground Earth, basically.
All right, yeah.
But I can't remember what happens after that. Yeah, I'm blanking out. But that's okay.
Like, mine is like far away because I saw this like at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, I should remember it better, but like I can't, and I think it's because I'm getting all the other mecha animes mixed in my head. I'm like, well, I know what happened in this one, and I know what happened in that one, but I can't remember what happened in this one.
Yes, it happens.
Also, it doesn't help that I did watch the quote-unquote sequel or reboot or whatever you want to call it.
It's a sequel. It's a direct sequel. Eureka 7 Ow, which is Eureka 7 Blue.
Yeah. So I watched that immediately afterwards, and since it's kind of like a different story, I get the two mixed up sometimes.
Okay, so you saw the Eureka 7 Ow completely, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, me too. Me too.
I did not like it as much.
Of course, it's very different. It's that's why people did not like this this sequel, right? Because it's based on Eureka and Renton's. Is he really? I just don't want to admit it.
What?
It looks like them both, right?
It's like it's not them, but it's them, like in an alternate universe.
Yeah, that's what confused me. Like, what the hell is it?
Well, it's just like there's like, at first there's like a weird implication. It's like, oh, it's like they're kids because they're brother and sister in this anime. They're not love interests.
Right.
But yeah, I'm so uninterested in it that I don't remember a lot of it.
Just stay away from Owl, but go ahead and watch Eureka 7. Because we don't know what Eureka 7 Owl is. It's a reboot or a sequel. I think it's more like a spin-off. Let's just say it like that.
I guess.
It's something like that. So it could be canon. It could be canon. I don't know. You can make your own conclusions on that. But Eureka 7, like the original one, go ahead and watch it. Fully recommend it. You will cry. You will suffer. You will feel emotions that you have never felt before. I just say it like that. If you're a teenager, this is a right anime for you. Like, if you're like at least
maybe like if you're prone to depression, don't watch it. If you're an angsty teenager, don't watch it. If you're an adult,
of course.
I think you could handle it. Don't watch it if you've gone through a breakup or something recently.
Watch it when you're healed up, when you're okay. This is a pretty heavy to digest anime.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of heavy emotional baggage.
Exactly. So yeah, guys, this will be it for this episode, and please don't forget to favorite, rate, comment, and subscribe. This has been Zara Punky,
And this has been Shinja.
And we'll see you guys later.
See ya.